What if the conflict between Iran and Israel is no longer a regional dispute, but a global alliance game? In today's tense geopolitical landscape, the question isn't just who will fight, but who is standing behind the scenes, pulling strings, giving support, and preparing for a much bigger showdown. For decades, Iran and Israel have been locked in deep hostility. While Israel receives unwavering support from the United States and its Western allies, Iran is not standing alone either. Several countries, motivated by politics, religion, anti-Western sentiment, and strategic gains, have aligned themselves with Iran. But who are these countries? Why are they backing Iran even at the cost of global backlash? What do they gain from supporting Tehran's stance against Tel Aviv? In this detailed breakdown, we will explore 5 key countries that currently support Iran against Israel. Some through open political alliance, others through military partnerships, and some through silent backing in global platforms. You may be surprised to see how far Iran's influence spreads, from the Middle East to Africa and even South America. And while none of these nations declare outright war on Israel, their support for Iran adds strength to Tehran's resistance strategy. Let's explore these 5 nations and understand how they are shaping the future of Middle Eastern conflict. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to Wanderlust Ventures for Global Truth Uncovered. Number 1. Russia. First, please subscribe and stay informed on global alliances shaping the future. Russia's support for Iran is no secret. The two countries have formed a pragmatic partnership rooted in shared strategic goals. Russia sees Iran not just as an ally but as a key player in counterbalancing American and Israeli influence in the Middle East. Russia has consistently defended Iran in the United Nations Security Council. When Israel and the United States push for sanctions or condemn Iran's nuclear program, Russia either abstains or outright vetoes these measures. This diplomatic cover allows Iran to operate with more freedom than it would otherwise have. In military cooperation, Russia has supplied Iran with advanced air defense systems, such as the S-300 missile system. Additionally, both countries have coordinated closely in Syria, where they support President Bashar al-Assad. In fact, their joint operations in Syria have helped Iran expand its influence across the Levant, right to Israel's borders. Economically, Moscow and Tehran have deepened ties despite Western sanctions. Russia helps Iran evade sanctions by engaging in oil swaps and trade deals in local currencies. This economic lifeline has been crucial for Iran's survival and resilience. Ultimately, Russia's support is less about love and more about leverage. By propping up Iran, Russia ensures it maintains influence over the Middle East while simultaneously weakening U.S.-Israeli dominance in the region. Number 2. China. Comment below, do you think China will openly support Iran in case of a war? China is perhaps Iran's most important economic partner, and one of its quietest but most powerful supporters. While China maintains diplomatic relations with both Iran and Israel, it leans toward Iran when it comes to long-term strategic interests. In 2021, Iran and China signed a 25-year strategic cooperation agreement worth over $400 billion. This agreement includes Chinese investments in Iranian oil, gas, infrastructure, and technology sectors. It ensures a stable market for Iran's oil exports, something it desperately needs amid U.S. sanctions. China also supports Iran in global platforms like the UN by opposing sanctions that are not internationally authorized. Moreover, China sees Iran as a crucial piece in its Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, which aims to connect Asia, Africa, and Europe via infrastructure and trade. From a geopolitical standpoint, China's support of Iran is about countering U.S. influence and ensuring access to Middle Eastern energy supplies. While China won't engage in military support the way Russia might, it plays the long game, empowering Iran through commerce, diplomacy, and technology. In any potential conflict between Israel and Iran, China may not send troops, but it would ensure that Iran doesn't collapse economically or diplomatically. Number 3. Syria. Syria is arguably Iran's closest and most loyal ally in the Middle East. The relationship is built on shared sectarian identity, both regimes are part of the Shiite axis, and strategic necessity. Since the start of the Syrian civil war, Iran has poured billions of dollars and thousands of troops into keeping Bashar al-Assad in power. Tehran sees Syria as a critical link in its axis of resistance against Israel and the West. With Syrian territory, Iran can transport weapons to Hezbollah in Lebanon and threaten Israeli borders directly. This alliance is more than just symbolic, it's operational. Iranian-backed militias operate freely within Syria. Israeli airstrikes often target these militias, but Syria never backs down from allowing Iran's presence. In return, Syria receives military, economic, and political support. Without Iran, the Assad regime might have fallen long ago. And without Syria, Iran wouldn't have the strategic depth to challenge Israel effectively. Syria's unwavering alliance with Iran has created a permanent front line against Israeli influence, especially in the Golan Heights region. This military closeness solidifies Syria's role as Iran's battlefield ally. Number 4. Turkey. Turkey's relationship with Iran is complicated, but it cannot be ignored when discussing nations that subtly support Iran against Israel. While Turkey is a NATO member and maintains official diplomatic relations with Israel, its political stance has become increasingly pro-Palestinian and anti-Israeli in recent years. Under President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Turkey has been vocal in condemning Israel's actions in Gaza and the West Bank. Erdogan has even accused Israel of committing genocide, and publicly supports Iranian-backed Palestinian factions like Hamas. Turkey and Iran have their differences, particularly over Syria, but they cooperate on energy, trade, and regional defense. Both countries also share a common interest in countering Israeli influence in the region and limiting U.S. dominance. Additionally, Turkey allows Iranian financial networks to operate within its economy, helping Iran bypass some international sanctions. And while Turkey may not supply arms directly, its diplomatic and ideological support gives Iran the legitimacy it seeks in the Muslim world. In the bigger picture, Turkey plays a balancing role, but one that increasingly leans toward Iran when Israel escalates aggression. Number 5. Pakistan. Pakistan does not recognize Israel and has been one of the strongest Muslim-majority countries to stand against its existence since the very beginning. While it does not always openly back Iran's foreign policy, Pakistan's ideological stance on Israel aligns closely with Iran's. The two nations, Pakistan and Iran, share a long border, cultural ties, and a mutual interest in defending Palestinian rights. Pakistan has frequently condemned Israeli actions in Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem, echoing Tehran's positions on global platforms such as the United Nations and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC. Although Pakistan maintains a complex relationship with Saudi Arabia and the Gulf countries, who have normalized ties with Israel, it has never followed suit. In fact, multiple Pakistani governments have refused any move to establish diplomatic relations with Israel, despite U.S. and Western pressure. Iran and Pakistan also have cooperation in border security, trade, and energy, and in recent years, military-to-military coordination has increased, especially after U.S. troop withdrawals from Afghanistan. In the grand scheme, Pakistan is a strategic but silent supporter of Iran in its resistance against Israel. While it may not send troops or arms, its ideological, diplomatic, and regional positioning makes it an important part of Iran's geopolitical circle. Like this if you believe Pakistan plays a bigger role than people realize. In a world divided by ideologies, alliances, and power struggles, Iran stands at the center of a volatile conflict with Israel. But as we've seen, Tehran is far from isolated. Powerful nations like China, Russia, and Turkey bring diplomatic weight and global influence to Iran's side. At the same time, Syria provides critical military and territorial support, while Pakistan adds ideological and strategic backing from South Asia. Together, these five countries form a quiet but firm alliance that challenges Western narratives and Israeli dominance in the Middle East. Each supports Iran for its own reasons, some for religion, others for politics, and some for resisting U.S. global control. But their combined presence sends one clear message: any conflict involving Iran will not be fought alone. This alliance could redefine the future of the region, shift global power balances, and spark larger confrontations if diplomacy fails. Whether you're watching from the West, the East, or anywhere in between, one thing is certain: the game is bigger than it seems. What's your take on this rising axis of power? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Wanderlust Ventures for more global truth revealed.